What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So I'm back with my segment, The Rundown, new episode, and there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of people talking boxing. We have a great fight card headed up. Triple G, Rubio, also Donaire Walters, great card. So there's a lot of things going up. I like to give you guys the rundown just because it's too much to make separate videos. I'm working on some other stuff as well. It's just too much, so I got to compact it into one video like I do on the rundown. First, I want to talk about Floyd Mayweather and his comments. Floyd said, even though I only have 2 fights left, some days I think about signing a new contract and extending. I'm thinking about it. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking about it. So Mayweather is saying that he only has 2 fights to complete this deal with Showtime, but he may go on. Certainly, if he stays undefeated in his next 2 fights, he can go on to beat Rocky Marciano's record. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys think of that. Him sticking around, should he stay? Is he good for the sport? Is he bad for the sport? Drop your comments, let me know. Also, Carl Froch. Carl Froch is a person with some options. He has some good, decent options for a fight. Now, from his standpoint, he's saying if he doesn't get the fight that he desires, which is Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in Vegas, then he might just retire. He said there's other guys who he's not trying to badmouth them. They're Olympic gold medalists like James DeGaulle, who wants to fight Carl Froch, but he hasn't earned his stripes at the pro level. So he's like, what has he done at a pro level? He's a mandatory, but like, what has he done? You know what I mean? He just feels he doesn't have the resume to warrant that particular fight. Some people would say, oh, he's afraid of his style. Who knows? But I really like Carl Froch. Carl Froch has been a long time favorite. He's just a man's man type. He's a humble dude when he like with his family and stuff. He can be a bit arrogant, but he's a cool dude. I think he has good intentions, good heart, and he shows that, and that heart carries over into the ring. So I really like Carl Froch, and him versus Chavez Jr. I would love to see that fight. I actually made a video and a graphic a little while ago, so hopefully that fight gets made. There's other guys he could fight that could be good fights. Triple G, I don't know if either one of them want that fight. Triple G said he wanted to handle business at 160. Froch is at a higher division. Plus, Triple G's a handful, so who knows if Froch actually wants that. I remember there's a quote, I don't know if they misquoted him, but they said he hits like a mule, and I would basically stay far away from that guy. So, Carl Froch, he could also fight Andre Ward, who's been very inactive, but I don't really see him wanting or beating Ward in a rematch. I just think stylistically that's not the right style. So I agree with him. You know what I mean? And as much as I would like to see him go on, I prefer to have his legacy intact. If he's done a lot of good things, he avenged the Kessler loss, and he did that and convincingly won in that fight. He had a controversial win over George Groves. He set that straight in front of like 80,000 people in Wembley. So there's nothing worse than a boxer that doesn't know when to hang him up. And I like this attitude with Carl Froch. You're in a position, you worked your way up to this position to be a little bit of a shot caller. So you can be a bit picky and choosy. I mean, I don't want him to fight fucking bums or nothing, so don't try to spin my words or whatever. But if you want the Chavez fight, you know what I'm saying? Oh, cool. If you're not and you're content with your legacy, then cool. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather that than the fighter not knowing to hang him up and, you know what I mean, and worsen and tarnish their record. Also, another news, Manny Pacquiao, he is talking about moving back down to 140. Now, his advisor, Michael Conks, he's okay with the move. They said Pacquiao's a natural fit. He's more of a natural 140. I got 2 questions, really. One would be, if you were going to move to 140 and actually put it out to the public like that, why didn't you fight Chris Algieri, who is the 140-pound champion after defeating Ruslan Provatnikov at 140? Like, to me, that makes no sense. Why are you guys fighting at the catch weight at 144? That's one thing. And then two, it's like, what is that going to do for Mayweather-Pacquiao talks? Mayweather never said shit about, I want to go back down to 140, so who knows if that fight will ever happen, especially if Pacquiao does drop down. Now, since that fight hasn't been happening no ways, it does open the floodgate for a lot of good fights. Terrence Crawford is at 135, but he looks like he has the frame where he could easily move up, especially if he beats Beltran. There's not going to be that many big money fight. Who the fuck is he going to fight at 135? You know what I mean? Not too much action at 135, so he might have to move up. and rematch Danny Garcia, someone he fought in the amateurs. Mikey Garcia, and this is also some news, Mikey Garcia is moving up to 140 as well. So it's very dynamic in there, especially if Oscar and Bob Arum and Top Rank and all that really can work together, because you have a lot of key players at 140. 140 and 147 have been popping for a while now. You know what I mean? Mikey Garcia is moving up. Terrence Crawford, if he beats Beltran, will probably have to move up because there's not going to be that many options for him. So that opens the floodgates to Mikey Garcia versus Terrence Crawford, a fight I would love to see. You also have Pacquiao, who's talking about moving down to 140. You have Broner, who moved back down to 140, and I made a video yesterday, he called out everybody. I'm not saying he beats any of those guys, but he at least is saying he wants to fight. Then you got guys like Lucas Matisse. Just imagine the fucking ways you can mix and match. Ruslan at 140. You got Lucas Matisse versus Pacquiao. What about that fight? If Lucas Matisse has a couple more solid wins, you got Danny Garcia. There's just a lot of ways. Danny Garcia and Pacquiao. Danny Garcia versus Terrence Crawford. Danny Garcia versus Mikey Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Like the Garcia versus Garcia fight. 140 is popping. You know what I'm saying? Especially if Pacquiao does move. So we may miss out on the Floyd Mayweather fight because I don't think Floyd's trying to come down to 140. But it does open the floodgate for some great fights. Now it's just a matter if they will be made. Will they make these fucking fights? I would love to see really everything that I just said. Lucas Matisse and Pacquiao, I would love it. Danny Garcia, Pacquiao, love it. Terrence Crawford, Mikey Garcia, I would love it. They were also talking about making Mikey Garcia versus Pacquiao at one point. Now they're kind of meeting in the middle, you know what I mean? Because before, Garcia was going to have to move up 2 weight classes to fight Pacquiao. Now it's kind of like Pacquiao's dropping down possibly, and Garcia was coming up. So we could see some good head-on collisions. There's a lot of action. Then you put guys like, you know what I mean? I would even want to see, I never even really thought about this, but I would want to see Adrian Broner versus Mikey Garcia. You know what I mean? Mikey Garcia is very skilled, very technical. Broner's athletic. You know what I mean? That could be a pretty good fight. Mikey Garcia is not the most fluid mover, but he's a great boxer. You know what I'm saying? Then you got guys like Omar Figueroa, who can't make weight at 135, so he's probably coming up to 140. There's tons of ways to mix and match this. So let me know what you guys think if Pacquiao does make the official move after the Chris Algieri fight, after he beats him, which I think he will beat him. If he comes back to 140, what do you guys think about that? Marquez is another option. Marquez fought his last fight against Mike Alvarado. That was at a catch weight. You know what I mean? So Marquez is still in the mix. He's not a big, huge welterweight like Kell Brook or Sean Porter or one of them dudes. So he could probably make 142. So let me know what you guys think of this news. What fights do you want to see? What do you think about Mayweather possibly not retiring? Pacquiao possibly dropping down? Carl Froch retiring if he doesn't get the Chavez Jr. fight? Let me know what you guys think of the rundown. Let me know. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.